Well, hello. Welcome to Updated Autopsy Report, a podcast from Yotsuben and Friends where we replay the entire Ace Attorney series with longtime fans and newcomers. I'm your host, Ben, and with me today is Dessy.
Hello.
And two friends of ours, Tiago.
Yo.
And Rose.
Hi.
If you're a first-time listener, Dessy and I are the longtime fans, and Rose and Tiago are the newcomers. We hope that through both of our perspectives as we play through the series, it will reveal new details and provide interesting commentary for a series that's near and dear to us. Today, we have all played through 3-1 Turnabout Memories, which is the first case of the third Ace Attorney game, Trials and Tribulations. This game is also the finale of the original trilogy that focuses on Phoenix Wright. This case is, again, like most first cases, a tutorial where it hopefully teaches the gameplay mechanics to new players who might not have played previous games in the series. And Takumi goes into a little bit of this on his blogs that I've been reading, where he says, like, hey, I got to do this every game because there's always a chance that somebody new is playing for the first time. So we got to teach them the bare essentials of this game. But this is a little bit more involved. And it was interesting. He got a mandate from his producer that said this game has to have 5 episodes. And also that each episode individually has to have less volume. So they wanted to spread out the content instead of, 4 larger cases. They wanted to have 5 cases and make each one a little bit smaller. So that actually ends up making a slightly longer tutorial case than usual. Or at least I kind of felt it was a little bit longer than the average tutorial case. So here's the thing. We've made some jokes about how there's no way that Phoenix could get hit on the head by a fire extinguisher again. And we were indeed correct. There is no way that could have happened again.
It could still happen.
I was prepared for him to get hit by a bus.
Instead, we play as Mia Fey, Phoenix's mentor, who we originally met right at the start of Game 1 and who was tragically murdered. And instead, we're getting to see her second case that she has ever taken in court. And she's very nervous about it. But we're already getting some story beats getting laid out for us that will form the foundation for all of Game 3 here with this tutorial case. Mia and her mentor, Marvin Grossberg, are at court to defend somebody who's a college student. Their name, I'm not sure if I'm reading this right, Phoenix Wright? So you're defending Phoenix Wright because he's accused of murdering a fellow student named Doug Swallow.
Oh, fuck.
Which, honestly...
boy, Doug he swallow.
I guess we're just... I assume that's just a pun setting up for later in the case with how things go. The general gist is he's been electrocuted, and Phoenix has been accused of pushing him into a live downed electrical wire, high power lines that go into a laboratory at the college.
Just like the talking heads say, he's a real live wire.
Yep. And his motive, according to the prosecution, who is, of course, Winston Payne, the rookie killer, he's here with his full head of hair. He claims that the reason for this murder is jealousy, because Phoenix's current girlfriend, Dahlia Hawthorne, was previously seeing Doug 8 months before this murder. So we get into things and we get to see Phoenix, who has got a cold and he's wearing his mask. He's very, very good about that. He's wearing his mask while he's sick, which I appreciate.
Phoenix came down with COVID-19.
It's 2003 at best.
It was 2016 because canonically Ace Attorney takes place in the future.
We talked about this.
It's the year's 1994.
And he's also wearing a very goofy looking pink sweater with a big yellow P on it, in a heart. and he loves taking his cold medicine, Cold Killer X.
Who loves cold medicine?
It's very funny. He's
Phoenix
like, I'm a
Wright's-
big fan of Cold Killer X.
Yo, Phoenix Wright confirmed lean fan.
These are pills. These are clearly
You're
pills.
so
I'm
topical.
sorry. So we get a couple stages to this. One is which you have to prove what happened to Doug at all, which is kind of a weird situation. I guess it's a tutorial case, obviously, but Mia has to prove that Doug was electrocuted in the first place, even though his autopsy report says he was electrocuted. And there was a live wire dangling in the photograph of his dead body, but the whole court is like, how did he die? And you have to point that out.
Says on the thing. Ah.
And then you get a brief recess. And then during the recess, then as you get to come back in, we meet Dahlia Hawthorne, Phoenix's current girlfriend, who just wraps the whole courtroom around her finger. She's just so sweet that everybody is instantly convinced that she could not have done anything awful. But Mia seems to already be aware of who Dahlia is. The player's not aware of this at the moment, but they're like, huh, what's going on here? And then she is also like, you know what? I gotta grudge Dahlia. And what comes to light is that there was another murder in the courthouse 8 months ago. Huh. Coincidences. It's interesting.
Why do people keep getting murdered in this courthouse? Multiple lawyers.
Yeah. Somebody was poisoned with poison was put in their coffee, and they died in this courthouse. And it's revealed that that was Mia's boyfriend at the time. And that he was poisoned, and somehow they could never figure out who did it. But Mia suspects Dahlia was part of it. And as you push through the rest of the case here, you are essentially proving two cases at once. One, that Dahlia was there and did poison Mia's boyfriend, and then pawned off the poison vial to Phoenix in the form of a little cute necklace that he cherishes so deeply because he's just infatuated with her. He just thinks Dahlia's the best, madly in love with her, he says at one point, and the judge goes, that's a little old-fashioned for you to say, Phoenix, which is very funny coming from the judge.
Yeah, how dare he?
And then, yes, also then proving that Dahlia was the one who killed Doug as well in the current case. And so you kind of link these two parts together, and Phoenix is not convinced of your arguments, unfortunately, and in a very goofy turn of events, he swallows the necklace before...
He doesn't just swallow it, he actively states that he chews it.
Yeah, he chews it up.
Which is one of the most fucked up things I've ever heard Phoenix Wright say, closely followed by some other stuff that he says in this case.
So he swallows this because he's just convinced that there's no way Dahlia could have done these awful, awful things. So he swallows the necklace, chews it up, and everybody starts to freak out. They're like, oh no, you just swallowed a necklace that could have trace amounts of poison in it. And then the very last piece of evidence is using the Cold Killer X, which were poisoned cold pills. And, you threaten Payne. You're like, well, Payne, if you're so convinced that Dahlia didn't poison these, why don't you try them? And he's like, no! And in his very dramatic fashion, the screen flashes white, like the background goes all white, and it does like a very anime like fade, and his hair just gets shredded away, as he is blown back by Mia's decisive evidence. So yeah, and then at the very end, Phoenix says, hey, thanks for, proving me innocent, Mia. I appreciate that. You've really inspired me. I'm studying in addition to studying art, I'm also studying to be a lawyer. Just, on the side here. And I want to be a lawyer like you one day. because I gotta help my friend. And that's kind of where we leave things off then. But yeah, this was, I think, coming back to this one, I thought this was a pretty fun tutorial case overall, personally. I really enjoyed playing it on the stream there. I guess, Dessy, coming back to it this time, did you also, like, find it just as good as before?
Yeah, I think it's a really good tutorial case. I think Phoenix is extremely cute in this.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like him in his front-facing sprite. I think his hair is really cute.
Is this the first front-facing sprite we've seen of him?
I think so. There might be a profile image, maybe, for him that we've seen at one point in, like, the evidence.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, this is really, like, the first time we're actually seeing a front-facing sprite for him. Yeah,
he's mostly 3/4.
Yep. So yeah, Rose, what did you have a good time with this case?
I had a delightful time. I was ready for the fire extinguisher. Multiple people were trying to convince me that was exactly what was going to happen, is it was going to be another fire extinguisher. And if it had happened, I would not have been surprised. I do want to say that. I was convinced enough. But it was wonderful. I was so excited when I realized I was Mia. And I felt like this case gave her, like, the personality that she was missing before. Because you basically,
Right.
like, you meet her. Like, obviously Phoenix knows her, but, like, the player meets her and is like, all right, sensei, you know? And then she instantly dies, pretty much.
Yeah,
Which,
second case in.
yeah. Which is,
I
like...
think she still has personality. Like, we get to encounter her several times later in the game.
I do not feel like she has a lot of personality in those encounters. I'm gonna be real with you.
We saw the movie. We know that she has way more personality than that one.
Everybody look me in the eyes. We can't talk about the movie right now.
Okay, fair enough.
We'll get there. We'll get there. There's gonna be a bonus episode.
But I enjoyed it. I had the moment I've laughed the most out loud so far in Ace Attorney. In this case, and it's when I realized that Phoenix is that guy you went to high school with who thinks that girls do not poop.
God, I fucking... Yeah.
You all know him. You know him. You can picture him. Everybody think about him. Where is he? Has he learned? Maybe not. But I have had multiple conversations with boys at my high school trying to convince them that no, girls do poop. I swear. Everyone poops. Haven't you read the children's book?
Rose, we're going to talk about this off pod because I went through high school and I need to know who didn't think that girls...
You were not one of the people. Congratulations.
I'm glad I passed that very low to the ground bar.
I laughed so hard. I had to put the DS down. It was so good.
He's just so infatuated with her.
Oh, also his little, like, you know, the, like, X face, the full, like...
Yeah,
the little, like, XD face. That's the most, like, early 2000s thing I can imagine, and it was very funny to see it when he sneezes.
Right.
I think the most early 2000 things about this case is when Mia Fey say, I guess we know whose milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
Oh, she did say that, didn't she?
She does make a reference.
Oh my god.
But
like they literally say Harlem Shake in this.
Yeah. Grossberg keeps bringing up his hemorrhoids in this.
I actually do wish he died.
My hemorrhoids are doing the Harlem Shake, and it's like, Grossberg, I'm begging you to shut the fuck up.
Weirdly enough, still not the most annoying NPC catchphrase in this game.
Wait, what do you mean? That's the worst.
The guy who spoke in Leet Speak.
I don't forget. I mean, Salmonella deserves to die, but yeah.
Yeah, that guy, the clown.
The clown, yeah, that's fair. The clown too.
Who else did I really hate? Oh, you all know who it is. It's the
The
air
doctor.
quotes, Dr. Hottie.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah.
guy's the worst guy. So, like, Grossberg's just kind of like, okay,
Average.
Grandpa.
He's gross. That's, he's...
Yeah.
But,
I don't
like-
know. He was kind of cute, like, supporting me. I was like, oh,
He was
just like a
cute literally
dude.
until that.
yeah.
Like, literally... I mean, there's someone something... Let me think about this sentence before I say it. Is that there's probably something that someone could say about Grossberg's attitude during this case. And the things that he says, and how that doesn't portray a very kind portrait of people, I would say, of his stature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, listen, his name is Grossberg.
He's gross.
It's not a great... I mean, I realize that all names in Ace Attorney are puns, but it's still not a great one. Like, we're making a fat joke here,
Yeah.
See, I'm immediately jumping to it was about the hemorrhoids the entire time because it's gross of him to talk about that.
The thing about it, though, is that he never mentioned them in the first game.
Yeah, they added that in for this game,
They
didn't
added
they?
it in just because they thought that he needed
He
something
got better.
God. I was
He
going to
did,
say,
he
that.
got
well,
better.
listen, we can't talk about hemorrhoids this entire podcast.
We can't. Let's move on.
Okay.
Mia was cute. She had some cute animations.
Yes.
Love it.
When we streamed the case the other day, Iro did mention kind of an ongoing theme with Ace Attorney, which is as soon as a character becomes the playable character, their IQ drops by like 20 or 30 points because you start having to, be the one solving things for them. Mia can have all the answers for the last two games and be the one who's like, come on, Phoenix, believe in yourself. Here's the crucial piece of evidence. But now, granted, we are going back in time to when she was an earlier attorney, but also now she's like, I don't know how to do court. And it's like, well, you are in court. You've been in court now twice, so...
At least
once.
it gave
This is the
us-
second time.
It gave us the option where Grossberg is like, hey, do you need a little more help? And you can either be like, yeah, talk me through this, or you can be like, no, I'm
Mhm.
good. And I don't know what happens if you click, yeah, talk me through this, but I imagine it wasted a little more of my time. And I knew what I was doing.
It walks you through things a little bit more step by step. But eventually, some later games will actually get to the point where the game will straight up ask you, do you want a tutorial? And you can say yes or no. And you can just jump right into starting your first cross-examination without having your assistant walk you through every step. You know what I mean?
I would want a tutorial if I knew the game was giving me new mechanics that wasn't in other Phoenix Wright games. But I know for sure that this one plays almost exactly like all the other ones, so I'm not too worried about it. Because I know that in like the 3D ones with that fucking magician or whatever, there's like it's like no, all right, I know there's a magician, but fuck the magician. I'm trying to think so like before I even started playing any Ace Attorney game, I on a whim bought like one of the 3DS ones where he like came back, and like there was like an emotion sensing thing, and I was like, this seems like cheating to use in court. The point is,
we'll get there.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
I'm jumping over leaps and bounds of shit. So what I'm saying here is, I don't think the tutorial is necessary. I was like, Marvin, take a fucking hike. I got this. I like to imagine that deep down, no one knows what they're doing in court, and that's why we get to see Mia's internal monologue go, I don't know how to do this.
I like that interpretation, yeah.
Miles
Also,
doesn't know.
The judge, we know Miles doesn't know. He's faking it. The judge, I'm glad to see the judge, A, looks exactly the same, and B, has been pulling this shit forever, because multiple times, like, Mia is like, Your Honor, go fuck yourself. Like, she gets really mad at him in her internal monologue for being, like, super unfair, and I was like, finally! Somebody!
What did y'all think of Mia's bit in which whenever Phoenix would get really, really lovey-dovey about Dahlia, that Mia would start to get angry and like slap Grossberg around and like elbow him and be like, oh, this is too cutesy for even me. I gotta, and she just like flails her arms around her or something, because every single time Phoenix would do something cute and be like, "Oh, I love my Dahlia, my sweet, sweet Dahlia," then Grossword would be like, "Please, oh, Mia, stop hitting me! Oh, I'm begging you."
Well, the whole time it was happening, I was like, this bit is gonna get explained later. And it kind of did, because you find out that Dahlia murdered her boyfriend.
Right.
So, I guess it makes sense.
I thought, I'm ashamed to say this, I thought I was being hetero-pilled for a second, and I was supposed to imply that Mia had, like, a crush on Phoenix or some shit, and then I found out her boyfriend. I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
That hurts me, Tiago.
Listen, I told you it was not great for me either. Like, trust me. I thought this game was trying to imply that thing, because you know how in, like, Shonen Jump things, like, oh, the girl has a crush on the guy, but then the guy gets cutesy with someone else, so she hits somebody else. And Marvin's, like, right there, and I was just, like, getting some real Sakura Haruno vibes or whatever. Yeah, I, like, and then it occurred to me that Mia is upset because her boyfriend died, and this is a murderer.
Yeah, this is the murderer who got away, and she wants to try to find a way to pin her, you know.
I think that, I think it's fine. I do enjoy this case a lot. I had a good time with it. I mean, Winston Payne's still there. I miss his pompadour. I wish he still had it.
Well, here's something really fun. Again, I was doing some reading, and this has all been translated. I always got to plug them because they do great work. Gyakuten Saiban Library.blogspot. They have translated a lot of Takumi's blogs about the development of the game. And he writes that an inevitable idea popped up in me when I saw the ouchie, which is Payne's Japanese name, of 5 years ago that the designer had drawn. So the designer drew old style, you know, younger Payne with the pompadour. And Takumi says, you know, let's have Ouchie lose his hair as his damage animation this time. And Iwamoto, the character designer, goes, what? But that takes a lot of labor. Fool! Where are you going to pour all that effort in if not this? Iwamoto goes, you do like these ideas with hair, don't you? What? do you have some complex about hair, Takumi? And Takumi, again, he's recording his own conversations, writes that he says, ...
So he's admitting.
Yeah, the hair on Ouchie's head flying off whenever he takes damage, it looked fantastic once they had finished the animation. However, this led to one big problem. It was really hard to see all the hairs flying off with the prosecutor's bench as the background. But it would be a waste not to use this animation after they had put all that time into it. So they deployed this white background effect instead. So they said, okay, we're going to, for the first time, apparently, this was the first time they'd ever done this, made the entire background white within the courtroom while still having the character sprites and text box up. And that's how they decided to accomplish this effect and make sure that it was very clear. And it's very, very anime. It's very, you know, black and white pencil drawing of the character, you know, getting blown away.
Yeah.
I really do like it a lot. I'm really glad they went to all the effort for that animation.
Now that I think about it, they never did that in any other game, and I think to myself, what would it looked like if Von Karn was like the background went white and every time he like banged his head into the gavel it like turned black for like a frame or something? Not like that would
have been kind of cool.
That would have been kind of cool.
Yeah.
Y'all want to make it a tourney? a fan turn. Oh, so here's something I was thinking about. One, how come I've never seen a mod where you get to play as Mia as the entire time, like during the games? It would like you would just replace like what's up?
My understanding is that obviously these games have been on the DS and 3DS. Hard to mod. Very rare to mod those games.
That's fair. Yeah, you would have to like...
Now, the PC games, you can get these games on PC now, the remakes, and my understanding is there are some mods there, but they are typically more just aesthetic stuff, like changing the texts, the fonts, the objection, you know, graphics, that sort of thing. Music, I've seen some of that kind of stuff out there, but I don't know if anybody's done anything quite like that. I imagine that would be a decent amount of work.
Yeah.
To be completely honest, but
It just seems like something I would have seen by now. Like, I feel like every time a Zelda game comes out, there's always a mod where you get to play as Zelda. So, like...
I mean, I feel like with this...
Well, look how long it took him to get the full Ocarina of Time off of the N64 cart onto the computer. They just did it perfectly, like, this year.
Did they?
Yeah, we can't get too off topic on this, but essentially there's been a deconstruction, open source deconstruction of the ROM of Ocarina of Time, and now you can play it natively on PC in like 4K 60 FPS, essentially without any emulation.
Widescreen, baby.
So there's some cool stuff going on there in the mod scene. They've done it for Mario 64 and for Zelda.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah, we can't go too deep into the mod scene, because otherwise I'm going to bring up...
It's cool. Modding is a neat thing. I can't... Some of the other stuff from Takumi's blog posts about this first case, unfortunately, wraps around to later stuff, so I can't get into it too much. But one very funny tidbit that I found here is, again, Takumi writing down conversations that he had with his producer, and also the character designer, Iwamoto, and Iwamoto comes up to him and says, "You promised us that you'd have fewer characters this time, right?" And Takumi goes, "Of course we have fewer of them." And Iwamoto says, "Well, how do you explain this list?" And he holds up a sheet of paper with a list of all the characters in Game 3, which is the longest list in the entire series.
Oh,
Takumi goes, "Oh. No, who do you think you're talking to?" "Oh, that's strange. I'm sure I paid attention to the number of characters." "You might have paid attention to the number of characters, but not to the number of variations." Takumi goes, "The variations? Like this one. The name of the character might be the same, but they wear different clothes. That practically counts as different characters in our files." So, Takumi goes, "Oh." And so it goes on and on like this. But basically, it ends up, Takumi brags then at the end that even though they had this confrontation, that he still added 3 or 4 more characters after all this.
Yeah, why stop? Fuck it. Add 10 more.
But yeah, like having Phoenix in his regular clothes and then Phoenix in his young Phoenix, in his college outfit, that counts as, that's still taking up sprite space, that's just more characters. It's not like it's somehow is less space because they're still both labeled Phoenix Wright, you know what I mean? And when the cartridge space is so precious, they talked multiple times about how, like, if you notice for the intro for this, the only real animation that's going on in that intro is just that Phoenix and Doug are slightly rotating, and it's zooming in just a little bit the whole time. They did a lot of tricks like that, where it's like, that's just 2 sprites, but we're just gonna make them move just a little bit and rotate them to, like, create these visual tricks that will make them seem more interactive, when really we're just using 2 sprites here, and then mixing them together. So as we get further through the game, we'll see some of these characters, and again, the excised case from Game 2 shows up here.
Well, we won't see Doug Swallow.
But yeah, no more Doug Swallow. He's gone, unfortunately. And
Dahlia Hawthorne, hopefully.
Oh, they didn't spend all that time on those sprite variations for nothing.
Wait, you think that Dahlia Hawthorne's gonna come back? Fucking
yeah.
So I don't know if we actually went over it, but Dahlia Hawthorne poisoned Mia's boyfriend lawyer, and then gave the bottle to Phoenix, and Phoenix kept it for like 6 months.
He's
every
really
day.
Stupid.
Yeah. Every day,
and he was showing it to people
for it and be like, "Can I have it back, please?" And he goes, "Haha, no." And it's like, Phoenix, my guy.
I would simply give it back immediately and then not get accused of murder.
I mean, we'd all simply not get accused of murder but I'm just like, Phoenix, buddy.
Phoenix full simping in the courtroom.
That's like, it's incredible.
Kind of just all of it.
It's just like
Phoenix simping in the courtroom.
8 months of someone asking me the same thing once a day, every day, would affect my psyche. Like, I can't, like, this man is so goddamn dense. I'm just amazed.
He's in
But-
art
He's
school.
an art student.
He's high as hell. He's sleep deprived.
I was
He
gonna
has
say,
10 finals due tomorrow.
I was thinking to
Pulled
myself,
3
like,
all-nighters in a row and then cried in his professor's office.
what kind of artist do you think Phoenix is? It's tough, right?
Mixed media.
Mixed
He's-
media.
He's undeclared. He hasn't chosen his major yet.
I would love, like, to see, like, a paper mache bust of Miles Edgeworth. Like, and the paper that he's using is, like, court records.
Right. Yeah.
Dahlia just like, hey Phoenix, why do all your drawings of me look like your childhood elementary school friend?
Oh my god. But, like, we all...
He's
isn't
so
Dolly-
dense. He's
Real
that
talk?
dense.
Dolly probably straight up went like, hey, your art doesn't look good. You should try something else, honey. And that's why you
Wow.
switched.
I mean,
You're
she's
right.
yeah.
You're
She's
right.
toxic. She's the
Yeah,
most
she's-
toxic motherfucker. She's
literally-
literally toxic. She poisoned somebody.
That she
Yeah,
tried
yeah.
to poison Phoenix.
Yeah, and he's just so
And he
madly
thinks
in
she
love with her
doesn't
the whole time.
poop.
Yeah, she could do no wrong, and it's just man.
Also,
it,
how the fuck do you get poison inside of a pill? Like,
I don't know. Maybe
there
she
are
just
several ways.
I was thinking that she legit just doused them in the poison. Like, she just put the poison in there, shook up the bottle like a soda.
yeah,
So-
probably.
I mean, there's definitely ways. Like, if you have a pill press, obviously you can just do that.
Right.
Also, some types of pills are capsules. They're not, like,
Oh yeah, true.
pills.
But
Right, now you can
I
just
can't.
inject it or
I
whatever.
can't imagine Cold Killer X being one of those types of capsules.
It was a little unclear. I mean, listen, once the seal's broken, you can
It
fuck
just,
up medication.
Anything is possible.
I just think that
Yay.
like Cold Killer X reads to me as a store-bought brand, like it's like NyQuil or some shit. Like, I don't think these are the types of capsules that you pick up from a pharmacist with a prescription. This is just like some shit you could buy to mix in with your Sprite.
I mean, they looked like pills,
Yeah,
they were definitely tablets.
they were
but
tablets.
they were
Uh,
tablets. They weren't capsules.
So exactly. So like, if they're tablets, like, what the fuck would you inject it? Like, and it's also insane.
No, I
like-
imagine you would take a poison and you would probably get it in a powder form and just toss it in and shake it up.
I also love the idea that Dahlia also stole a pill press. Like, from...
I mean,
Well, listen,
It's
Doug works in
implied-
pharmacology, so
it's implied to be liquid, which would
Yeah.
support the tablet theory. If it's powder, you know, there's obviously you can pill press it or you can just put it in the capsules. Chicago Tylenol murders anybody.
She was gonna poison Phoenix's lean, and that's what was gonna... Alright, that's my 2 allotted lean jokes. No more.
yeah, you've made,
get
made them
two.
all.
Anyways, no, I think she'll be back because she had several different animation groups.
Do you want to bet?
Yes.
I think she seems very familiar to me for a character who's only in one case. But on the
She
other
straight
hand,
up says that she won this time. She'll be back.
I
Yeah,
bet
she
$1 that she will not
Okay.
come back.
all right, I just
All
think
right.
that A, she said I'll be back, and B, like, okay, there's gotta be a reason that this is the tutorial case, aside from the fact that it slapped. It was awesome.
I think she's getting the fucking chair. I don't... I think the
Okay, I
judge...
mean-
Oh,
I-
damn.
I think the judge wasn't happy that he was tricked once again.
Could the judge kill such a beautiful,
Hey, you tricked
sweet
me.
young lady?
Chair.
My dad, the judge, would never.
No, he'd forget about the chair and be like, so what do? We put her in a corner for a couple hours?
All you gotta
or
do
what's
is hand him your business card.
Thank you.
He's so cute.
I-
No, I think she'll be back, Tiago. I'll take that $1 from you later.
Whoa, hey, I might be getting $1 later.
Okay, if she doesn't come back, I'll Venmo you $1 right now.
Let's be clear. Let's set the parameters. She is not coming back this game. Game 3.
No. I think she will be back this game in game 3.
Okay, so I'll be putting $1 on the table on my bet.
Okay, I'm putting $1 on the table.
All right. And whoever wins receives $1 American dollar.
All right, deal.
Okay.
We shake on it.
We shake on it.
Let's see here. For the rest of this case, then, as we are, I guess, as we're wrapping up here, what did you all think of the music here? Because we got a new batch, basically, of music. We got new objection theme, new pursuit theme, new courtroom theme. Did any of them jump out to you? Because personally, this is one of my favorite courtroom themes in the entire trilogy.
Music slaps, but the original cornered theme is still the best, in my opinion. Nothing will ever top it.
I know.
I think it's going to take me another case before I can really solidify what I think of all the tracks.
Marinated in it for a little bit.
Yeah.
But I did notice in the corner theme for this game that tambourine
is back,
and I want to shout out to that tambourine because it rules.
Shout out to tambourine.
Because Mia's there.
Mia's the tambourine?
It's the Mystic Mia
tambourine.
Yeah.
Well, it was in the last game too.
Yeah, because they had a whole thing about it with the spirit mediums and stuff.
Oh, I thought it was in all of them.
So, again, something to keep in mind here is that this is a new composer again. So we had different composers for game 1, different composer for game 2, and now for game 3 here, now we've switched to Noriyuki Iwadare, who composes some other games then as well, including the Investigations games and game 5 and 6 then as well. So there's like a small like handful of composers who are all kind of shuffling around here for these Ace Attorney games. But I just thought I should make note of that here, that we've swapped composers again.
It's gonna take a little bit for me to like really soak in the melodies, because honestly, like for game 2, I can't actually list a track that I really enjoyed besides Pearl's theme, and I'm like, I legit can't even remember the other themes. That's the problem.
Do you listen to them so much because of just playing the game that it just becomes like a part of the background? Even though it's really
mentioned
good.
It a bunch of times on the stream, and also I think at least once or twice on the podcast, how like underwatery the like questioning tracks felt.
Mm-hmm.
And I did actually really quite like all 3 of the courtroom tracks. Not like obviously the first game's like action theme is like I think of them as like normal courtroom, courtroom 2, courtroom 3, and like courtroom 3 is the one where you got them, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's like the medium one in between.
I want to listen to the songs, but like on Spotify they have the album grouped by like trilogy, so I'm like, if I listen to this, I want to get spoiled on the 3rd game, and I can't have that.
Yeah, be careful.
I'm careful.
Yeah, don't worry.
I mean, I'm actively not listening to it, which is why I'm like...
Yeah, once we get through the 3rd game here, then we can kind of go back through. Like, once we get to the end of the last case of game 3 here, I do want to kind of go back and look at the trilogy as a whole and see how we feel about it, like, cohesively as a unit. But yeah, game 1, again, was Masakazu Sugimori. Then game 2 was Akemi Kimura. And then he still did some stuff, some sound effects and that sort of thing as well. But then, then Noriyuki Iwadare takes over for 3 here. So I think it's really special that Ace Attorney has already built like such a comprehensive musical identity for itself by game 3 in the series, that different composers can pop in for each game and already kind of slot in with very similar vibes while, still putting their own spin on things.
Yeah.
But like nothing feels like wildly out of place here, None of these tracks are like, oh wow, this doesn't sound like an Ace Attorney song.
Yeah, like
like it all really coheres.
Yeah, if you told me that these are all the same composer, I would have believed you. I would have believed
my beloved Tiago.
Beloved Tiago.
We're married.
That's right, we are.
We're married.
We're not.
Yep.
Podcast married.
We're podcast married in this sweet little polycast. All right, I'm gonna switch topics.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it in a very organic way by saying I'm gonna switch topics. There's something that I was thinking about during this case that I only started thinking about during this case as opposed to the other games was so in this like Ace Attorney series, how talk sprites work is that the character's mouth moves up and down and they open it, and then like the audio that plays with the accompanying text is like and they all have like some characters have like different what?
They have unique sounds.
Yeah, some characters have unique sounds. And I was like, this is way more preferable to me than like other visual novels I've played recently where the characters talk, and I wonder why. And I guess the reason it occurred to me was the fact that like some visual novels have like speech, like a person is doing a recorded line. And like the sprite is also moving with it. And I'm just like, I actually don't like this for some reason, and I can't explain why. But I prefer an Ace Attorney where they just had the sound, because that
thankfully
makes me
they
feel
keep
better.
that in all of the games.
Yeah,
so it doesn't become voice acted?
No.
Thank God.
There's voice acted cutscenes later on.
It's too much dialogue.
But the game itself is they keep the noise.
I hate voice acted. Almost like obviously like some stuff, like some games require voice acting, but like for a visual
your
novel
imagination
style
when
thing,
you hear Phoenix scream is
and
always
also,
different than somebody else's.
I read faster than the voice actor can talk.
Right.
And it frustrates me immensely. I'm like, shut up. I'm faster. I know more than you.
Yeah.
That's my one skill is I read fast. I don't do it well, but I do it fast.
Yeah, I was playing another game where like there was voice acted dialogue, and like they were presented to me in a text box, but I just put it on a setting where like as soon as I open up the box, the entire text would be displayed to me. So I could just read it all there while they were talking, and then by the time I was done, they were still talking, and I was like, cool. So, great.
Skip.
I will say that in the it sounds like the way that Takumi has described how he writes his scripts is that he not only can like determine when he's writing the script, and it's getting put into the code of the actual game, whether they're using the deeper bloops or the higher pitched bloops, but he can also say like this text should go slow or this should go fast. This text should go and then have a boom and a pause and then continue the rest of the dialogue box. He has a lot of control over the pacing and when like music would stop in the middle of a text box or something like that. Sometimes you might notice, I don't know if anybody's picked up on this, like sometimes the text box, they will start to say part of a sentence, like, and say a piece of evidence will pop up in the middle of it. Sometimes it'll pop up right at the start. Like they have a lot of control over the nuance of both the pacing of the dialogue and the evidence items and the music and sound effects that are all integrated with that. And that really does help, I think, to kind of give you the like effect of somebody speaking without actually using dialogue. You can tell that somebody could be like saying a line and then they slow down at the end, or that they blurt something out really quickly because the text just all comes out at once. And I think that's a really neat touch, and it makes these games feel more alive as a result.
Yeah, I going off of what Ben said, like when Old Bag starts ranting and the text just keeps going and going and going and going, rather than doing a text box and then a pause and then a text box and then a pause like everybody else does when they're talking normally.
It's good shit.
Yeah. There's I believe there's like little things like Mia talks a little bit faster than Grossberg. Grossberg's dialogue comes out a little bit slower, things like that. It's subtle, but I think it adds to the overall flavor of the experience.
Yeah, that's good shit. I like it when they work the little detail stuff and like that.
Adding character to text-based game.
Yeah.
Also, it reminds me of Mega Man Battle Network because I think they have kind of a similar texting pattern where it's like dialogue that goes but like some characters have higher pitched ones, sometimes they have lower, sometimes it goes slower, sometimes it go fast, yada yada.
It's a little bit like in Animal Crossing too, like how Animalese is like it's like they make like a little system to make it sound like very natural language, so that like it's still like blah 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 blah, but it feels more natural to your ears.
Wait, isn't it actually like, if I recall correctly, Animal Crossing language is when they say a word, they say each letter of the word in a really high fast pitch, and that's what makes it sound like the word.
I'm not sure exactly how it's constructed, but there are syllables or something.
Yeah, they do something that's based off of what they're like, what the word is.
Yeah, because when they say Tiago, it's just they're saying Tiago really fast.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what filters they put it through, but I know they do that, and I know there's a different one in Japanese. They put it through a different set of filters.
Yeah.
Different phonetic sounds. Yeah. But yeah. Anybody else have any last thoughts for this case before we wrap up here?
Phoenix really cute. Cool. Phoenix cute.
Phoenix is really moe when
we stand by King.
Yeah, good for him. Mia's cool.
Complete
Shame
idiot.
she's dead.
And she's alive technically because she comes back literally all the time.
She's dead.
I like to imagine that like Phoenix is just chilling in the court office and like Mia's just possessing Maya and like watching television or some shit. Like cable.
She's like, I gotta catch up catch up on my shows.
Even if she's doing that, she's still dead.
Yeah, like who are we to define life? Like
she's dead. Oh God, she's no longer alive.
But like if she's inhabiting a spirit medium, is she not alive?
No.
Oh, okay. I mean,
she's drawing a hard line here.
There's two schools of thought. Some might say that she's alive.
It's not her body. She doesn't have a body. She's not alive.
But that just means she's non-corporeal. That doesn't mean it's a state of alive. Like, you know what? This is gonna get really existential.
I was about to say, you're getting really
She's a ghost! Like,
ghosts are dead, Tiago!
But when she's possessing a medium, she is in a living body.
Yeah, but she is not the person who the body is alive. Like,
but Maya's consciousness goes away. So there's only one consciousness that is active right now.
Are you still alive while you're... Do you die when you go to sleep, Tiago?
That's not what I'm saying. That's actively not what but that's the thing though, is that they even establish in case 2 that it is not the same as sleeping, because remember how Maya was in the box and they were
you're
like
just unconscious. They don't say you're not asleep. She just says you don't have dreams.
Exactly, because you are not asleep. This is not saying that if you're asleep you are dead. So
are you saying that Maya dies every time she summons her sister?
I'm not saying she's dead. I'm saying that she's in a state of not like. I'm not saying she's. Why are you saying she's dead?
I'm asking you. Is that what you're saying?
She's not dead.
I'm also, funnily enough, Tiago, on the witness stand, you just said, I'm not saying she's dead. I'm just saying she's in a state of unalive. Now, unalive and dead are the same thing.
No, they're not. The undead are different, and we both know that.
Well, that'll do it for us this week, folks. You can follow the show on Twitter at AceAttorneyPod to stay up to date on our latest episodes, as well as the streams and YouTube uploads of Dessy and I playing the game. You can follow me on Twitter at Yotsben. Dessy, where can people find you?
Yes, this is Des on Twitter.
And Tiago, where can people find you?
At Tiago S. Dutra. I'm going to be tweeting a lot about a coding cohort that I'm in right now because I'm in a coding bootcamp. Also, I got so mad at that conversation, I instinctively just pulled out some floss and started flossing.
Is that your nervous tick on the witness stand?
I guess it is
animation
now.
that plays.
The theme song starts to play.
Yeah. And Rose, where can people find you?
You can find me at TraumArts on Twitter and at Rose Nonsense for my personal account.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening, everyone. We hope you'll rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform. Next episode, we will be heading into the second case of Trials and Tribulations, Case 2-3, Stolen Turnabout. So if you're playing along with us, be sure to start Case 2 then, or you can watch us stream it every Saturday on my Twitch channel. As always, thank you for listening, and we hope you have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. This is a very respectful bye that children have to give when someone is leaving after they've been caught fighting by their parents.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying I know your fucking address, and I'm coming over.
Come over, I miss you.
I miss you too.
I just knew that we couldn't keep doing it forever, so I thought it would be funny just
Tiago
to
and I
interrupt and
won't
wrap it.
stop, so you need to stop us.